9 days ago, somebody started leaking Grand Theft Auto 6, and they have not stopped since. And you would assume that by now Rockstar knows who it is. They have told a federal court in writing that they do not. They do not have a suspect, they do not have a country, and they do not have an explanation for how the person got in. So this week, the hunt changed shape, and it turned into a much bigger story than the leak ever was. Now, the last time this happened to Rockstar, it went very differently. In 2022, somebody took 90 clips and the source code and dropped them onto a fan forum. And within weeks, that person had a name. Arian Kurtaj, 17 years old, on bail with an internet ban, working out of a hotel room with an Amazon Fire Stick and the hotel telly. He was caught, he was convicted, and Rockstar rebuilt their entire security posture around exactly that kind of failure. So the interesting question this time is not really who did it. It is why, with all of that in place, nobody can say. Because the net they have thrown to find out is enormous, and it has caught people who look like bystanders. That is the part of this I think is worth your time, and it is the part almost nobody is leading with. Quick note on what this video is before we go on. I am not showing you the leak, not a frame of it, not a map image, not one still. Everything here comes out of a court filing or an outlet I will name as I go. And where I am guessing, I will tell you that I am guessing. So what actually happened on the 20th of August is this. Take-Two went to the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York and asked for subpoenas. Not a takedown notice this time, but an actual court order. 2 of them, one pointed at Microsoft and one pointed at Discord. And both of them have until the 4th of September to comply. And it is worth knowing what that kind of subpoena actually is, because it is a specific tool. It is the one you use to unmask somebody anonymous. You do not have to have sued anybody yet, and you do not have to know who you are suing. You are asking the company that runs the service to go and tell you who an account belongs to. Which is why these get granted fairly routinely, and why the interesting part is never that a court allowed one. The interesting part is always what somebody put inside it. The Microsoft one is the stranger of the two because of how they got there. Some of the leaked material was posted to a repository on GitHub, and GitHub belongs to Microsoft. So Take-Two is asking Microsoft to hand over, and I am reading this straight out of the filing, all internal business records and investigative records associated with Microsoft's internal investigation of the Cyberleek persona. Which tells you something all by itself. Microsoft has apparently been running its own investigation into this, and Take-Two would like everything in it. They also want account identifiers, registration emails, internet protocol addresses, phone numbers, linked Google and Xbox accounts, device identifiers, and the contents of connected cloud storage. And not only for the leaker, for everybody in the relevant servers, going back to the 1st of June. Which brings us to the Discord half, and this is the bit where I started to feel uncomfortable about it. The filing names 5 separate servers: Cyberleek, Cinematic Rockstar, Surfer24K, Odyssey.gg, and one connected to a man called Matthew Judge. And if that last name does not mean anything to you, he is a very well-known Grand Theft Auto streamer who goes by DarkViperAU. So a federal subpoena now has his server written on it, and his answer when people asked was pretty short. I don't know anything. That isn't my editor's Discord. There aren't even any clips of the leaks in either of my Discords. He does not know why he is on the list at all, and he reckons it might be because the leaked videos happen to reference his content. Now I want to be careful with this, because being named in a subpoena is not an accusation of anything. It is a request for records, and courts hand these out fairly routinely. But the practical version is that a very large company has asked for the phone numbers and the addresses of everybody in 5 Discord servers, and at least one of those servers belongs to somebody who says he has nothing whatsoever to do with it. That is what a dragnet is. And the people most likely to end up inside one are not the person who did this. They are the ones who happen to be in a room where it got discussed. Underneath all of it though sits the line I keep coming back to. Take-Two told the court, according to Bloomberg, that it currently has no information regarding Cyberleek's identity, or any explanation for how it gained access to such confidential material. So sit with that one for a moment. The company that owns the most anticipated video game ever made does not know who has a playable copy of it, and does not know how they got hold of one. That is not a public relations problem. That is a hole somewhere in the building that they have not found yet. And the subpoenas are not really a punishment. They are Take-Two asking 2 other companies to go and look for them. There is one more thing, and it makes the story messier rather than tidier. The message that arrived with the very first leak was almost principled. It asked game companies to stop digital pre-orders, and to stop locking finished content behind paywalls and fake downloadable content. And you can disagree completely with the method and still recognize that there is an argument in there. But Kotaku reports that the same leaker has been using the dumps to push people towards a cryptocurrency coin they stand to make money from. Those two motives do not really live in the same house. I am not going to name the coin, and I would not go looking for it either. Because the other thing worth understanding is that this is not one leak. It is a campaign, it is running to a schedule, and it was still going the morning I wrote this. By now there have been 9 separate releases. There was the porch and the basketball, then the wrench and the police chase, then the map images, then a radio station and a piece of a cutscene. The 7th had a hypercar in it, 2 petrol stations getting their registers emptied, and a strip club. And the 9th showed a random encounter at a garage, the wasted screen, and more of that same cutscene from the 7th. Which matters more than it sounds, because a cutscene carrying on means somebody is playing the game rather than replaying a video of it. Whoever this is does not have footage of Grand Theft Auto 6. They appear to have a copy of it they can sit down and play, which raises the question nobody has actually answered yet. And I want to be very clear that I am speculating from here. How does a playable build of the most protected game in the industry end up on somebody else's machine? Because footage and a build are not the same problem at all. You can film footage off a screen with a phone, and people have, and that is embarrassing, but it is containable. A build has to be copied off a computer that was allowed to have it, which means somebody or something had genuine access. A contractor, a test device, a partner studio, a compromised account. I genuinely do not know, and neither, on their own account, does Take-Two. And that is the part that should be keeping people awake, far more than any individual clip going round. And I think the scale of that is worth saying out loud, because it is genuinely unusual. This is a game with a reported budget bigger than most films ever made, from a studio that has spent 4 years locking everything down after the last time. And a stranger has been posting bits of it on a schedule for 9 days, while the people who made it go to court to ask Microsoft who they are. So the 4th of September is the date that actually matters here. That is when Microsoft and Discord have to answer, and when Rockstar finds out whether any of this got them anywhere. If the accounts trace back to real identifiers, this ends the way 2022 ended, with a name and a court date. And if it does not, then somebody out there keeps a playable build of Grand Theft Auto 6 for as long as they feel like keeping it. One practical thing before the end, because it affects you rather than them. Do not go looking for this stuff. Take-Two are issuing takedowns against people sharing it, and that is the whole reason we know the footage is genuine in the first place. There was also a code sitting inside one of the early clips pointing at an outside site, and more than one outlet told their readers plainly not to follow it. So there is nothing on the other side of any of this that is worth a strike on your account or something unpleasant on your phone. But the 27th comes first, and that is only 5 days away. Rockstar are putting an extended look at the game on Netflix 3 in the afternoon Eastern Time, exclusively for 6 hours before it reaches their own channels. And that is their answer to all of this, whether they say so or not. Not a subpoena and not a takedown, but the finished thing in proper quality, shown by the people who actually built it. Which is a strange position for a company to be in 5 days out from the biggest reveal of the year. The whole industry is waiting to see the game, and the question sitting underneath it is whether the people who made it still know who else is holding a copy. I will be going through the extended look frame by frame on the 27th, and I will tell you which of the leaked systems actually survived into it.